Hi, and welcome to Whole Soul School and Foundation's Ancient Voices for the New Earth podcast series with Marie Mohler and Earthkeeper Selina Mu. Together, we are shining a light on the collective awareness that we are all a part of a much greater whole. And through our podcasting conversations, just by the offering of them and the energies of those listening and participating in them, together we are co-creating a better, kinder, and more peaceful Earth planet. And that is the living essence of what Whole Soul School and Foundation is all about. For those of you new to our Ancient Voices for the New Earth podcast series, Earthkeeper Selina Mu is an ancient healer and spiritual mentor. Selina is a vision keeper that has come to restore an ancient indigenous medicine way, honoring the sacred feminine held deep in Mother Earth's center, linked to the stars, and holding the original instructions for the healing of self and Earth. Selina has been called upon by Creator, Mother Earth, and the Ancient Ones to bring us back to the truth of all that we are in our oneness with nature and all that is. This is a most powerful sacred pathway to spiritual awakening and healing for all who are ready to receive. Selina, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Marie. It's wonderful to connect with you again, and I am looking forward to our talk, and I send a warm greeting to all those who will be listening to this podcast as well.
Wonderful. I always enjoy when you lead us in a prayer and intention for our podcast.
Yes.
So if you would open us up.
I would love that, certainly. So I would invite those listening to join with us to take a moment to center. And doing that, we'll do that with our breath first, sacred breath. So I invite you to just kind of take first an exhale to breathe out any energy that's not suitable for connecting and centering, simply through our intention. And breathe in a beautiful green light ray, the emerald ray of light. Just see green light energy, breathing it in and connecting with you and sending that light through your body. It's the color green is very nourishing and very healing. It's a very prominent color upon the earth and for a purpose. So we lend ourselves into the energies of the earth as we breathe in green. We harmoniously relate to Earth Mother when we do that. And to that aspect of ourselves that is green energy, where we cover the spectrum of the rainbow in our bodies. And that's a good place to start because it connects with the heart center. So we're breathing in green energy and see that green light also in the exhale. So the inhale and exhale is green light energy. Just doing that for a moment and giving thanks for this time together. And I give thanks to all who are sharing with us of the universe and the multiverse and of the Earth Mother. And so it is. We're ready to begin. Thank you.
And so it is. Oh, that was beautiful. And for anyone that's in the part of the world where it's more winter, I think feeling that green energy come alive in us at this time was even more beautiful. Thank you. I wanted to see, Selina, if you could start today by speaking a little bit about perhaps the energies of the solstice and this new month, these first few days of January, and the winter season a little bit.
Yes, I'm happy to speak to that, for we just recently had winter solstice night, which is the time of the year where we have the longest night and shortest day. And this represents a turning change of the Earth's seasons. And it's a beautiful time when the sun and moon come together in this sacred dance, if you will, that we can access and align with to support us in our relationship with the heartbeat of the earth, with the rhythm and cycle of the earth, the sun and the moon, in the galaxy and universe in which we live. When we attune ourselves and take time to acknowledge that we are a part of the greater whole and
Yes.
the rhythms and the cycles of the earth mother, then that brings us into greater alignment. And so that our intention, our heart's desires,
Yes.
our life can be more in the flow, in the rhythm and the cycles that we are living within. For
Yes.
we are a part of this greater cycle. And so right now we're in the cycle of winter. Take a moment to simply go outside and step outside and connect with winter and acknowledge winter. And if you wish to take it further, write down 3 or 4 or 5 things about winter that you're grateful for.
Mm.
That will help you to come into alignment and be in right relationship and good relationship with the energies of winter, because they are different energies. And if you, as you had said, Marie,
Yes.
if you're in the other part of the world where it's now summer,
Yes.
then flip it and
Yes.
be in gratitude for what it is about summer that you enjoy,
Yes.
and go out and greet the summer sun. And for those of us in winter climate, go out and greet the morning sun of winter. And just simply to acknowledge that you wish to be in alignment with the flow of those frequencies, because it harmonizes us with the energies of the cycles of creation through the universe in which we live, the galaxy,
Yes.
the earth, the sun, the moon,
Yes.
bringing us into alignment. That is ancient indigenous wisdom. This is something that the original peoples of the earth, all knew and practiced. It was just simply a part of being one with nature,
Yes.
to acknowledge the seasons. So in this winter season, it is a time of hibernation where the animals will go and rest, and not all of them, but many of them, and many of the trees, not all the trees, will go into they will withdraw their energy from the physical plane and bring it into the inner planes for replenishment and nourishment and strengthening.
Yes.
Bear goes into hibernation, and
Yes.
many of the trees there. There's a spiritual connection there that is achieved that cannot be done in the fully wakened state. That's why, and it's also an inspiration for each of us to take that time to go deeper into a place of inner reflection and looking for inspiration from those realms of our being that are connected to that are
Yes.
connected to those deeper realms of of our consciousness.
Yes.
And to be mindful there, this is a particularly powerful time of year in which to acknowledge that connection and explore it. It's very powerful to connect in this way.
Yes, it reminds me of almost going into a womb like state where we grow inside ourselves in a replenishing and a deeper way than when summer and spring come that are so active and we engage more in the outer world. But there's such beauty to the going within time.
I really appreciate what you spoke of because I was, through my connection with creation, I was taken on a journey, a spiritual journey, an inner journey, connecting me with the womb of creation
Yes.
some time ago. And so, understanding what that is and the connection with the sacred feminine and restoring that balance to earth, and now coming back into balance, feminine and masculine. There's much to be explored there, but yes, it is
Yes.
like going into the womb.
Well, and um, I know I have some other things I want to talk with you about, but that concept of going into the womb and going deeper inside ourselves for those of us in the parts of the world experiencing winter right now. I I wrote a book called Hearts of Trees. And it's a children's book, but it's a really all ages book. And the story is about a tree who it's a beautiful maple tree. And so her leaves are big and she has bountiful greenness and aliveness in her spirit. And she knows herself as beautiful. And then, of course, the seasons change, right? And her leaves turn to a crimson red and bright yellows and oranges. And then her leaves fall away. And the story is really mirroring a time in my life where I was going through a deep challenge. And I had felt like a lot of the things in my consciousness in my life that I had thought were beautiful had kind of fallen away in my life. And I was left like trees look out. I'm looking out my window now where they look bare. And, and I felt very naked in a way without my leaves, and the message that had come through me that was meant to be written in that story is that in the winter seasons of our lives, that's when Mother Earth holds us the closest. It's the time we may walk and feel like we're walking it alone, but it's the time where we actually have the most intimate connection with her. And so when we're talking today about winter, I'm reminded of that, the essence of that story, and of course how this tree in my story that I wrote has to trust the beauty of the going within time. And of course in the spring her leaves start to bud, and she has a
Mhm.
renewed life force that comes once again. And I think that winter also mirrors those cycles in our lives where we're all going through some kind of growth experience or a challenge in our lives that's stretching us in some way. And I think winter models that for us, that's going to be a part of our journey and our human cycles in this life, right? Are you still there, Selina?
Hi.
Oh, hi. I don't know. We've had a little bit of recording issues. I don't know if you were just talking, but if you were talking, we couldn't
No, I
hear
was
you.
listening to you.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. So yeah, I was just really feeling that story, which I wrote it, but I don't
Yes.
think about it all the time. And then when you commune with really harmonizing with the season of winter that many of us in the world are in right now, and going into the womb of the earth and going into that sacred reconnection space that we all need for renewal, that's going to refresh and refuel us for the new adventures we're going to have in the new year. I think this time on the planet for a lot of us is about that right now.
And that's very wonderfully spoken. Thank you for the story about the tree. And it's true that that season when the leaves fall and trees go into that time of slumber,
Yes.
um, and what can we learn from that? What can we take from that in living that example where we all of us have a season of where higher activity, and then we have a season where we start to slow and to a less quick pace, and then we slow even further, and that's the season we're in now in winter, in preparation for that high energy time of birth, which is spring,
Yes.
which we can prepare ourselves at this time of winter for what ideas, what creative insights have come through that we can present to the world for the spring, when it's a wonderful time to create from there.
Right.
And
Exactly.
this time is a wonderful time to receive the inspiration.
Yes. Ex- Yeah.
And then in spring, it's a wonderful time to bring what we have been inspired by through our own inner reflection, to bring those ideas out into the forefront and of our consciousness, and manifest, do what we must do to manifest them.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, so I think in great alignment with what we've just been talking about, the solstice and the winter energies, for those of us in that hemisphere experiencing that energy right now, and really for people all over the planet, we wanted to talk today about spirit guides. Um,
Yes.
and it helps us all to begin to grow the language for our spirit and our soul path again, because it's been lost over the generations and the hundreds of years that humanity has been on this planet. And so, the concept of spirit guides has become in many ways a foreign concept, when in fact it's a very essential part of our being and our journeys here. So I wonder if you could talk a little bit more about that, Selina, about our spirit guides, and who are they and why do we
Mm.
need them?
Yes. Wonderful to share about something that is so significant to our journey here upon the earth.
Yeah.
You know, we, each of us, are in many ways so very unique. We each show up with something unique that we have to contribute. We have something unique and wonderful that we have to share. And those teachings, that we're to acquire while we're here on the planet.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pre-planning that goes on long before our physical birth.
Yes.
We don't just show up randomly.
Yes.
We are here because there was a vision of us that we made for ourselves,
Yes.
that we of who we how we wish to express ourselves and experience what we chose to experience here in this lifetime.
Yes.
And I will begin perhaps by sharing an insight that I had about that early on in my spiritual awakening. I attended a healing circle, sacred circle, a gathering of people.
Mm.
And there was, we were all from sort of different places, and very different people on the surface, it would seem.
Yes.
And I was very, very shy. I was very quiet. I didn't connect with people easily. And but there was this one woman that intrigued me. That there was just something about her, and I was curious about her. And she would
Yes.
show up, and I found her to be very striking. And who is she? We didn't spend a lot of time speaking with each other. Much of our time was spent listening to the teacher, who was supporting us on our healing journey. But
But
we
her
didn't have
energy sounds very engaging, for sure.
yes, there was
Yes.
something very commanding about her. Well, it wasn't too long after the circle began that I had a dream about her. And
Oh.
it was, and when I speak of dream, I call these, there's different types of dreaming. I would call this, my dreams, such as this one, I came to speak of them as my medicine dreams.
Mm.
Now, for me, medicine is that which will heal you or teach you. That's what medicine is.
Yeah.
And so my medicine dreams were very powerful, that were clearly coming from a higher frequency, a higher realm, that were sent seemingly from the stars or from the heart of the earth. They were messages from the divine, from the sacred for me.
Mm.
In the dream, I was standing before the tree of life
Wow.
with a circle of people similar to the circle that I was in this
Yes.
circle, this very
Yes.
similar.
Yes.
And this woman, I will call her Janet. She was there in the dream. She was one of the women standing before the tree of life or
Wow.
the tree of knowledge. And yes, and we were standing there um, receiving teachings.
Mm.
And what we were receiving were the teachings we were receiving were to prepare each of us for our journey that we would soon be making to the earth.
Wow. Wow.
And so there we are standing before the tree of life in the cosmic realms, where we are preparing for our journey that we're about to embark upon
Right.
here to earth.
I see.
And we're receiving teachings of the journey and the significance and all the preparation and
Yes.
guidance that went into it, and what is to come and what is to unfold and what opportunities are before us, and all of that. So,
Wow.
and
So the
we
tree
were
of life is planting seeds in your consciousness
yes,
that you'll bring through with you.
supporting and helping us to remember
Yes.
why we're making the journey
Yes.
and the spiritual significance of the journey.
Yes.
So, this was something that was very powerful and very important. And who knows how many times we would have to sit before the tree of life in the preparation.
Right.
So, understand when as we speak of spirit guides today,
Yes.
I wish to include in this understanding that we are standing before the tree of life.
Mm.
Let me share that this is a reflection of when we get here to earth, that the trees carry wisdom,
Yes.
that the trees are wise one that can support us, that we're
Yes.
not in our when we so many come here and we forget our relationship with nature, but our relationship with nature is something that is carried within us before we get here.
Yes. It's seated inside us. Yes.
Very much so. And
Yes.
I was being shown that in this dream
Wow.
because the tree of wisdom was radiating frequencies of light, frequencies, and light is information. Light carries information.
Yes.
So and this tree was huge. It was
Mm.
massive.
I can
The
only imagine.
a
Yes.
great grand tree. Imagine, if you will, for those who saw the movie Avatar
Yes.
and you saw the mother
Yes.
tree.
Yes.
Imagine standing before one such as that and
Yes.
the energy it would give off and what it would impart, and
Mm.
how powerful and sacred. Just imagine that.
Mm.
And so there I am in the dreaming, remembering this experience of what occurred before I came to Earth in this time.
Mm.
And there was Janet beside me. And
Right.
that's why I remember where I remembered her from.
Yes.
She was amongst the people who were standing beneath the tree of life with me
Yes, and receiving the teachings for
and
this life.
receiving the teachings for life. She
Yes.
was receiving the teachings alongside me. We were receiving the same teachings.
Yes.
And so after that dream, I thought, "Oh, that's how come she feels so familiar. That's why I find I'm so intrigued by her.
Yes.
She and I
She's been
share,
touched by the mother tree.
yes, and we were there together. I recognize her.
Yes.
And so I didn't want to frighten her. I thought I can't. She's in this life. She doesn't know me. We've
Right.
not officially met. We've not introduced ourselves
Right.
or anything like that. So I felt like I would take my time. I knew I wanted to speak with her, and then I would take my time in getting to know her and her getting to know me before I share such a private,
Yes.
personal, something so sacred to me as this dream.
Yes.
So that so I did that. It took time, and over time we began to say greet each other and then have conversations. Ultimately, we would become the best of
Oh,
friends.
wow. That is so magical. That is
And
so
we shared such powerful
mm,
medicine together, and we would travel to gatherings and go into
yes.
sacred ceremony. She ultimately would begin holding a women's circle in her home every month, and and I would join her,
Wow.
and I would go on vision quest. She was right there by my side when I went out to do my vision quest
Yes.
as a support. There
Yes.
was just this knowing between us. So I'm sharing this to say,
Yes.
when I speak about spirit guides, I wish to share it in the context of this relationship that I had with the tree of life. I now work with in my work. I connect with and work with the mother tree of life.
Yes.
Imagine the mother tree of life is my
Mm.
guide now. Well,
Yes.
this started before. And we have guides from nature, and we also have guides that are in standing under the mother tree of life, that the tree of life in that dream were also spirit guides that were with us, guiding us.
Yes.
So we were like the initiates, if you will,
Right.
preparing to come to Earth, and we were each standing with our guides who were helping us to prepare, and the tree of life was supporting all of that we were
Right.
standing under. Now, what was interesting is that in the dream, I was shown something very significant, because in the dream it started to a storm came,
Oh,
and it started to rain, and some people left. There's like, oh, like, the weather's not good here, I'm leaving.
yeah.
And then it started to rain harder and more left,
Wow.
and I'm thinking, why are they leaving? Like, the teachings aren't done.
Right.
And I was very perplexed by this. And Janet and I were one of the few who remained for the whole entire teaching and the
Wow.
entire time. Some
Wow.
left early because they
Yes.
didn't
Yes.
want it wasn't nice and sunshiny out, and they were having to stand there in the pouring rain. Well, I stood in the pouring rain, because I wanted to get every last moment of teaching that I could to prepare me.
Yes.
So I understand the many layers to that, but
Mm.
as we were with guides as well as others who were receiving the teachings, Um, I want to talk about those spirit guides because they are chosen. It is an agreement that is made
Yes.
by us before we're born of who our spirit guides that are going to watch over us while we're here on earth, who they will be. It is by agreement,
Yes.
and it is already predetermined before we are physically born.
Yes. And we are there. I don't know if you would say this, but for that particular council of guides, we are their project. We are what they are committed to supporting the journey for, right? Or
So, the understanding that I have
okay.
about spirit guides is there's many directions that we can go, and I wish to
Sure.
be as clear as I can be, and I certainly will answer your question. But in my understanding of our guides, they we choose collaboratively with our guides the journey that we are going to embark upon when we come here to Earth,
Yes.
and how we collaborate, how we choose to collaborate, is um, has many facets to it.
Right.
In part, our guides show up to work with us, to be there as a support for us,
Yes.
because that also supports them in their growth.
Right. Exactly.
Because they are also expanding and growing from where they are, and helping us to help ourselves upon the earth helps them to expand onto their next level. It
Yes.
always goes on into infinity. So there's a constant growth. There is goodness that is being received by all who are in harmonious participation through agreement.
Yes.
So we choose our guides,
Yes.
and our guides come from different realms. They come from those higher realms of nature.
Okay.
I had chosen this particular tree of life.
Yes.
It
Yes.
wasn't just there randomly. That was part of my experience to
Yes.
prepare me. And now I am here living upon the earth, and the Mother Tree of Life is a very powerful guide for me, and
Yes.
that I call upon, along with the other guides from other realms. So we have guides that many are familiar with as those of the angelic realms,
Yes.
angels and archangels. And we have guides that are of the ancestral realms.
Hmm.
And remember that we choose our guides.
Yes.
So we are selecting them based on what teachings and what it is we are coming here to earth to experience. We
Yes.
choose our guides based on that, and they choose us. It is a mutual agreement that is coming to, well, am I suitable for why you're going there?
Exactly. They're like
Right?
they're our mentors, and they meant for
Yes.
the experience here. They have that knowledge that we
Yes.
support from.
And there will be those guides who will join with us, who have been with us over many, many lifetimes, who will come and continue the journey with us. So
Yes.
we're simply going from the spirit world into this realm,
Yes.
this earth world, into the universe here, this physical universe experience, and
Yes.
they're continuing the journey. So and when we leave and we return, they will join with us from there, and we'll continue on. It's a continuum.
Yes.
There are
Yes.
some who, when we reach a particular level of our awakening, our journey, that will step in to help us get through a particular part, a
Right.
particular piece of the story that we are
Living.
weaving
Yes.
in living. Yes, there are those that will step in and help us through that piece. And then once we've completed it, they're gone.
Okay.
They leave. And someone else will come in to continue from that level.
Yes.
Once we attain a certain level of our mm, awakening and our spiritual growth, then
Yes.
there are certain guides who will step away,
Yes.
and others who are now qualified, if you will, to pick up the baton and carry us into the next level,
Yes.
will join us. And so our guides, there are some guides that are with us from birth.
Mm.
There are some that will step in at, let's say, at the when we become a woman or a young man,
Right.
at the from youth, when we go to youth, there are new guides that will come in. There
Yes.
are guides that will come in when a woman has her first child.
Yes.
Or when a particular spiritual event, something huge occurs in their life, an awakening. So
Yes.
when in 1990, I had a spiritual awakening, a powerful spiritual experience, and during at that time, new guides stepped in because I was ready to receive them.
Yes.
And
Yes.
also, so this is a huge topic, Marie, that's
Yes.
worthy of a series of conversations.
Yes.
So, and I don't want to, I would like to try to be coherent in what I'm sharing, but it
Yes.
is very expansive, and it is very important that we understand
Yes.
that there has been an agreement made, and that when we show up on the planet, we are not alone.
That's right.
We have help, and we're meant to turn to our guides
Yes.
and for their support. Their support is key, for they can see the greater picture that we often are missing parts of it
Right.
here in our consciousness is not fully open or activated, or and they will come and assist us through those times and those experiences where we're wanting to know, well, what's my next step? Where do
Mm.
I go? Well, how do is this person someone that I'm meant to learn from?
Right.
Well, all these kinds of decisions, not only the life-changing decisions, but even just choices that we make in the moment
Right.
of our existence. It doesn't all have to be about life-changing moment. It can simply be, going on a journey. I think I might go to New York this weekend. uh, you
Right.
know, and but maybe for whatever reason, that's not really where the universe wants you to
Wants
go,
me.
or your
Right.
higher self.
Yes.
Which, speaking of, when we talk about guides, let us include our higher self.
Yes. That is
Our
also
higher self
yes.
one of our guides.
Yes. Exactly.
So we must include our higher self in this conversation. And also, our guides are, like I said, they can come from the ancestral realms, they can come from the angelic realms, they can come from the star realms,
Yes.
because our being is expansive.
Right.
We are a universal spirit. We are cosmic spirit.
Yeah.
And so, as cosmic beings, we have guides from all of those realms.
That's exactly right.
And as we grow spiritually, as we come into being who we are as cosmic beings, more of our guides are able to enter because they can then align with our frequency. Let me share with you what I mean.
Yes.
So, I was going along on my spiritual journey, and by this time I had entered into a spiritual retreat.
Okay.
And because I was devoted to my awakening, and
Yes.
I was guided by my guides that for me, and this is a personal journey, it's not something that everyone has to do, but for me, I needed to retreat from society. I
Yes.
needed to go into a solitary place in order to fully embrace and attain what was being asked of me, which was huge.
To be able to listen, I think, right?
Yes, I
Yes.
couldn't have the distraction and all the exterior that was of society, of living in so deep
Yes.
in the world. It couldn't work for what I was needing to achieve.
Yes.
And so I was in a place of solitary living, if you
Mhm.
will, not
Mhm.
completely isolated, not at all. But there was a very solitary time for me, mostly solitary.
Yes.
And so at that time, I experienced a lot of growth exponentially
Yes.
because I didn't have the distractions.
Yes.
And as I was awakening and all of this was going on, I could feel my biology changing as the frequencies my frequency was rising, because that is what awakening is. It's a rising of one's frequency. So
Yes.
we move from the third dimensional frequency to higher frequencies, fourth, fifth, and so on. But they come in increments. It doesn't happen all at once. And so that's why we have different guides as well. We'll have a guides that will come to help us to get from, let us say, from the third frequency to the fourth frequency.
Yes. They'll be the
And then
bridge. Yeah.
once we've achieved that, then new guides will come in whose role it is to get us from the fourth to the
Right.
fifth.
Right.
You wanted to say something, Lo?
No, I wanted, well, a couple things. I just want to say the guides come in and act as a bridge in the time when we're moving from those frequencies and those perspectives in our lives. What's happening is our awareness of ourselves as something more is shifting. And the guides come in to form that bridge that help us make that next level connection with ourselves, inside ourselves.
Yes. And so, what I would like to say, though, is that oftentimes, at least from my experience, I didn't know what was happening.
Yes.
I had nothing to compare it to what my
Right.
body was feeling. I
Yes.
just knew that my body was going through this incredible change, my biology, and I didn't understand it. I wasn't This was in the early 90s, and I wasn't aware of words like ascension. If
Right.
somebody would have said, "Oh, you're ascending, Selena," then I would have understood that, but I didn't. Again, I was it was a solitary time for me, and I wasn't reaching out a lot, and I didn't even have the words for what I was
Yes.
feeling or experiencing for somebody to tell me. Like, I couldn't explain it. I just knew
No.
something was happening, and that I had surrendered to the
Yes.
journey.
Yes. You did know
So,
that. There is a part of
yes,
you that knew that you were going into that journey, and,
yes,
yes.
I had surrendered to the journey, to a spiritual journey. What that exactly was going to look like, feel like, taste like, smell like, I didn't know. But I knew that it was whatever this was, this shifting, this changing that was happening with me, this transformation, that it was part of the journey that was being asked of me. And when it first started, I want to tell you, I was afraid of it, even
Yes.
though I had asked for it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
was afraid. And to be honest, after in the first few weeks, I shut it down
Yes. It can
because
be too much. It's
it
too
was
much.
too much. It felt too much. And I
Yes.
was afraid. Like, what the heck? Like, no, 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 no. I don't think I want ask for that.
Yeah,
No,
right.
I didn't want that. I just want to, be all I want to be joyful. I want to be I don't
Rainbows
want
and
all
sunshine.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right.
want rainbows and laughter, like all of this body moving and shaking and
Yes.
hearing sound that is coming from dimensions I don't know where the heck from. Like
Yes.
all of this that's going on. No, I didn't. I don't think I signed up for that. So I shut it down, like, please
Yes.
stop. And it
Yes.
stopped. It did.
Wow. It did stop
It
then.
did stop.
And then what happened?
And then literally a week later, it started again. And that's when I said, okay, I sat down in prayer and I said, okay, Creator, if this is what you are asking of me to go through, I
Yeah.
will go through it. I will. And I won't resist it anymore. But I put you in charge of it. I
Yes.
hold you responsible for me. I actually said that.
Wow.
I am holding you responsible for me now, Creator, because I am surrendering to this. I am
Yes.
surrendering to you.
Yes.
And when I made that commitment, it was on. Boom.
Yes.
It was like I gave my permission for those energies, for the floodgates to open
Yes.
and
That was a
to
full,
just,
yes.
yeah, it was a
That was
full surrender.
full surrender and full on consent at
Yes,
that point, which
full on consent
consent.
with no holding back. And
No.
so that is when, in giving my permission, guides came in and surrounded me to help
Yes.
lift me up, to help
Yes.
me in what it is I had surrendered to. It was like the calling had come, and I had been wanting to heal and wanting to grow and expand, but I had no idea what that was that I was really asking for,
Yes. A lot of us don't.
what
Exactly.
that was going to look like or
Right.
feel like. And
Yes.
when it happened, it kind of freaked me out. I'm just like, what the heck? And so I had to put a stop on that. I had to halt it because I was overwhelmed and
Yes.
like, what is this? Is this coming from a good place?
Yes.
That was my fear. Is this coming? Have I tuned in right? So I'm going to talk about that in a moment or two.
Yes.
How to know that you've done it, you're getting it the right way,
Yes.
that is in your highest good. Make
Right.
sure, because that was a fear that I had. What if I'm not attuning to those that have my highest good at in their
Yes.
best, in what is in the best and highest good for me? That is not what how they're connecting with me. I was afraid of that, and I had fears because I felt like I was delving into the unknown.
Yes, and although interesting that you did have the soul awareness to think about what you were aligning with, and had, I don't know if, did you have the words highest good, or is that something that came
No,
later?
I didn't have those words at all.
Okay, so
I
when
didn't
you,
much of the I didn't have the language
yes,
that what I had was my heart crying for a change,
yes, crying for
crying
change.
to
Yes,
open and heal. That's what I had. I
yes,
didn't have words that I could access right away.
yes, it comes
So
later, but
it
yes,
came later, and so I was starting truly from faith,
yes,
and it was and trusting my guides and Creator to take care of me,
yes,
because I didn't have the words and I didn't fully understand the process
yes, but
from where I was.
there's a point in time where when that call to change happens in all of us, where we do have to put our faith and trust into this new version or this new journey we're going to go on, because we at least know that the older version that we've been, we have outgrown. There's a part of us
Yes,
that does know that, like a caterpillar, I'm sure, gets to a point after it's eaten and fed itself and it's nice and round and plump, it it must know that it's moving into something, but it
a
doesn't know
new
what that,
phase, a new cycle.
a new phase and a new cycle. And there is a point where I haven't thought about this, but the caterpillar is so full and so full of itself in the form that it's been.
Yes.
It can't grow any further without becoming some new version of itself.
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
that's that call to change where we're afraid. There definitely
Yes.
is fear. That's a natural thing that comes up for all of us
Yes.
in this journey. And yet when we try to put the brakes on like you did, and I think I try to do the same thing in my own way of, I may have called this in, but you know what, I don't think so. I'm going to go through this other door over here. and,
Right.
and I'll catch you guys later, right?
Right. Yes.
But
Because this is huge, and I'm not sure. I wanting all that.
right.
And
Exactly.
could we just slow this down a little bit?
Yes.
You
And
know.
then
Yeah.
and in that moment of stillness, whatever that reset point that we try and slow it down and we ask for just a little bit more time, I think, and I won't speak for everyone listening to our conversation, but for a lot of us, another surge or cycle of energy will rise through us. And you might link this back to the guides that are probably infusing us with the energy of faith that we can rise,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. And what occurs in those moments is very fascinating, because we're called to draw inward into that inner deep place within us that knows,
Yes.
that has been through this experience countless times.
Yes.
But it's the our body deva, as some call it, or our personality self, that's not gone through this experience before. Our
Yes.
spirit self has, and it's got it. It called
Yes.
for it. But
Yes.
our personality self's like, what the heck? No, this is way too much. This is way out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
But that's where we're being called to, is out of our comfort zone
Yes.
until we get comfortable.
Yes.
But the switch over is huge. And
Yes.
when we're making that switch over, that's when a huge band of guides come to help us lift us up, so that we don't retract and fall back,
That's exactly
or
right.
that we don't slip into those realms we've got no business going into.
Yes.
That's why guides are important. That is
Essential.
right there, Marie, is
Yes.
why we need our guides.
Yes.
So many try to crack themselves open, and they try to do it through ego and through themselves,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
don't respect the team, the circle of light beings that agreed to help us through it, and they get sidetracked, and they don't, and then they get distracted,
Yes.
because we'll go into a moment here of understanding
Yes.
that, as good as our intention and high as our intention may be,
Yes.
there are forces on the planet
Yes.
that can sway us.
Yes.
And it's not something that we can ignore.
Yes.
So let's go into
Yes.
that sensitive topic, because for me, I feel as though on my journey, a lot of times I held back because I was afraid of that unknown, unforeseen element that could exist, that I could get caught in,
Yes.
and how to avoid
Those traps.
that.
Yes.
Yes, the
And
false
pitfalls.
the false the false prophets, the illusions that are out there, if you will.
Yes, exactly.
You get caught. So here's why it's at the heart of um, why it is so important for us to connect with our inner circle, our
Yes.
true spirit guides, because they only have our best and highest good
Yes.
um,
For
at
us.
heart.
Yes.
for us. They only have that. They will not sway us in a wrong direction. They will not give misinformation. They will
Yes.
not bring any harm to us, only love. And so it is, our focus must be on them. And we
Yes.
can't, so many times I would ask someone who would come to me, and I ask this question all the time when someone comes, do you know who your guides are? 9 times out of 10 people will
Yeah.
tell me no.
It's the answer's no.
The
Exactly.
answer is no. And
Yeah.
and you know what? That's why they're coming. They
Yes.
don't know that it's why, but
Yes.
that's why they're coming. Because in order to know who you are, you must know who your guides are.
Yes. Integral.
That
It's
is it,
integral to the process.
absolutely. And
Yes.
so as we are awakening,
Right.
this is so huge, our
Yes.
awakening,
Yes.
coming into the truth of who we are
Yes.
as powerful, confident, centered, grounded, sacred beings.
Yes.
There
We
is
need
a
our
divine
guides.
plan to our life that has guides that come with it.
Yes.
And so it is a part of the journey to remember who they
Yes.
are.
And I always feel, again, early in the journey, I resonate with what you described, Selina, is that you don't initially have the language. You don't know exactly what you're stepping into because your human self hasn't been there before. But I know now, and I want to say to all of our listeners, there is this feeling to me in the spirit guides that they were holding what I've called over time my compass, my lantern, and my map. They
Yes.
know our light, they know our soul's compass and the direction we need to move at any time to to live our life on purpose, and to be on that highest path. They are the ones that are holding our own soul's knowledge, and will help to keep us on the path so we don't fall into distraction.
Yes.
That's why they're so essential.
Yes. And so let us talk a little about how do we connect with them?
Yes.
What steps can we take to ensure that
Yes.
we are calling upon our guides
Yes.
that are so for those that may have interest in this, I suggest that you even perhaps write it down, because
Yes.
this is what I was shown in that time of introspection that I went into.
Yes.
Um, the first thing that we are to do when we're connecting and opening ourselves up to the sacred, to the divine, to divine spirit, whatever way you want to speak of that, when we are opening ourselves up to the universe, even when we are opening ourselves up to ourselves as highest light beings, there is a way that we are given so that we can do that safely. And the very first thing that we are to do is in our invocation or prayer,
Yes.
we are to call forth those that would come to support us and to help us and to protect us.
Mm.
And the way that we do that is we breathe, connect with the breath, the sacred breath,
Yes.
and call for, excuse me, call forth first, before any spirit guides, before anything. The
Yes.
very first thing that we do is call upon the light.
Yes.
The light, the light, the light. You
Yes.
first call in the light. Call the light to you. Now, whatever your experience of creator is, in whatever you're comfortable with,
Yes.
light of, so if it's the light of God, if it's the light of source, if it's the light of the universe,
Yes.
uh, okay, but to call forth the light.
Yes.
Call upon the light, to the light of Creator. I call upon you to shine upon me and
Yes.
surround me with
Yes.
your protection.
Yes. And fill me.
And fill me up to overflowing.
Yes.
Fill
Yes.
me up to overflowing. Now, as you're saying this invocation or prayer, as you're speaking the words, it strengthens it exponentially if you will visualize what you're saying.
Yes.
So as you're calling forth the light, see the light coming from way out into creation.
Yes.
See that light coming and see that light descending upon you, flowing through every particle of your being, of
Yes.
your all your cells of your body, every molecule.
Yes.
See that yourself being flooded by that light.
Yes.
See another light, golden white light spiraling around you as protection.
Yes.
You
Yes.
see, you're calling in the light. First, the light to fill you, and then the light to surround you.
Yes.
You do
Yes.
that first before calling upon anybody.
Yes.
So if you're calling upon the light of Creator, if you're calling upon the light of God, you call in the light of Creator, you call in the light of God, you call in the light of the universe, you call in the light of Source. And
Yes.
then the second, once you've done that, and once you've seen that light enter your body, mind, spirit, all that you are, enter your whole being, once you've seen that, and once you see that light of protection coming and surrounding you in the spiraling light, then you can continue.
Yes.
And then you call in Source or God. So first you call in the light of Creator,
Yes.
and then you call in Creator.
Yes.
Do you understand that there is a sequence, there is a way of things? So you
Yes.
call in the light, and then you call in the source of the light,
Right.
whichever that way feels most appropriate for you in this moment. That can
Yes.
sometimes change, but understand that let it be from the highest of the high. So
Yes.
light of the universe, light of, for me, light of Source, light of Creator, the
Yes.
light to the light from Source of all
Yes. So
to
beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Source of all. So that's how I do it. I,
Yes.
from the day one when I was shown, it is not changed, to the light from Source of all. And
Yes.
then I feel, experience the light, receive the light, and then to Source of all. And you see, and for me, I had a very powerful vision many years ago teaching me who it is I am to call upon.
Wow.
Yes. And it was it was one of the most powerful experiences. It was so powerful that, and that's exactly what I was shown. I saw myself dressed in white, standing, looking up toward the heavens
Mm.
with arms outstretched, palms up.
Wow.
And I heard myself say to the light from Source of all.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
I saw, and then I spoke the words to Source of all.
Yes. Yes.
And then I called upon the sun.
Yes.
You see, you look at many, many, many ancient cultures and you hear the um, it's spoken of who we are and our origins and the truth of this creation that we are in, and the truth of the universe in which we live. We are often referred to by many, many cultures as children of the sun. There is a
Yes.
place for the sun. So I was shown, call upon and understand that the this is from ancient wisdom that is here for us. The word ancient means timeless.
Yes.
Understand that. So, so when we call forth the sun, see the sun streaming sun rays down upon you.
Yes.
Don't just say the words, but see the sun and feel it.
And
Feel the
feel it.
warmth. Feel the warmth of the sun's rays.
Yes.
Going through you and upon you and uplifting you to the sun. I
Yes.
call upon you. Shine your light
Light.
upon me now.
It's a sensory conversation that you begin to have.
And very interactive. Yes, you
Yes.
call it forth and it will come. And this is how we are able to connect with creation in safety.
Yes.
The objective here is, in sharing this, is to be safe.
Yes.
And to be fully aligned in the most highest, powerful, sacred, good way.
Yes.
This
And the
is
two words that you'd said earlier are two words that I always include in my light invocations, in my connections with spirit is, when I call them in, like you suggested, I often say Mother, Father, God, but it can be
yes,
of all. It can be
yes.
Creator, but I always ask that the light and the blessings and the attunement to that high level frequency is in highest good ways always.
You see, understand that in creation there are words of power.
Yes. Yes.
And words of light.
Yes.
And it's a frequency thing. Everything has a frequency.
Yes.
The word light is a frequency that cannot be distorted.
Correct.
So when we're calling in the light, we're calling in the purest of the pure, the brightest of the brightest,
Yes.
To the light. Shine upon me your brightest light.
Yes.
You should say that. Don't be shy.
Yes.
Ask for what it is that you really want. To the light. Shine upon me now, your brightest light.
Yes, your most loving light.
And
right?
your greatest love.
Yes.
Shine to me the brightest light, to the light out. So for me, it's to the light from source. Shine upon me the light, the brightest light. Send to me your greatest love.
Yes.
And then call upon source or God, the creator. Be that what it will be for you.
Yes.
But I want to understand the rhythm and the power of this invocation. It will set you up for success, to successfully align with that which is in your highest good.
Yes.
So when we call upon we call upon the light, we call upon the sun.
Yes.
The great sun of suns.
Yes.
And first we call upon the light of the sun, and then the sun.
Yes.
Exactly. Right? So we're calling in the light first, and then the sun.
Yes.
And then we connect with and align with our highest aspect, to my highest self. Whatever, again, the word of how to divine self or higher self.
Yes.
Cosmic self, the I am that I am, to the one is the words that I was given. You call that in.
Yes.
What feels right for you and the way you feel comfortable to do that, to the one that I am in the highest.
Yes. And you say these
you.
words at first. When you're just beginning, you say them and you feel them, and then you tweak them, or you create the ones that are that frequency but that have the greatest resonance for you. So Selina, you are offering suggestions that people can speak to that highest aspect of us, that higher self, the I am presence inside us that is connected with all things. But you create your own language once you understand the frequency.
And yes, and although I wish to say that sometimes it may feel like it's a little bit out of your comfort zone,
Yes.
there's some of this language that I'm using, but I'm going to suggest to you that you hear it and know that this has been mm, called forth in this ways since humanity has been saying prayer.
Right.
And so I'm going to say, go a little bit out of your comfort zone. And don't just abandon it right away. Like, oh, I've never done that, or just try it a little bit and
Yes.
see. And yet, experiment a little bit with what feels right for you. But I share with you that this is an offering that I bring that
Yes.
may be of help, and simply explore and experience that for yourself. Be
Yes.
curious, be
Be
curious.
curious.
And
Exactly.
and the other, so I just want to complete this thought, this
Yes.
message here, because now we're going to get to our guides. So do you see how deep in we are before we even connect with guides?
Yes.
You see how deep in that we are connecting with creation in this way. And
Yes.
then we come to our guides. Now, this is what I wish to place before you.
Yes.
And again, like you said, tweaking it.
Yes.
But I wish to say this to the ones that love me the most.
Oh, I like that. Yes.
So you can say to my angels that love me the most, the ancestor ones that are guiding me that love me the most, but to the ones that love me the most,
Most. Oh, I love it.
because you've got to get to the highest of the high.
Yes. Yes.
And
That.
then they will direct that
Yes.
unfolding to the ones who love me the most.
Most.
Or let me give you an alternative, to my family that loves me the most. And
Most.
we're talking cosmic family. So you
Yes.
can say to my cosmic family, to my
Yes.
all that is family, or you can
Yes.
say to the light from of all that is to all that is. I'm going to put that out there as well.
And
But
I say even to my council of light that love me
yes,
the most.
yes, what council of light that love me the most, but it's the love me that most, the most,
Yes. Is
what, how you perceive that. If you could say to my ancestors that love me the most, to
yes.
my family of light that love me the most, to the council of light that loves me the most,
Yes.
you see that, but those words,
Yes.
that is how it was presented to me, and it felt right from like the moment I
Yes.
received it.
Yes.
Ah, that feels like a balm. That feels safe. That
Yes.
feels secure. That
Yes.
feels good.
Yes.
So I bring that to you, and we're going to continue just one or two more. So there we have that,
Right.
and then to all those
Yes.
who serve with me, all that is.
Mm, that's beautiful.
Now, what you're doing now, when you, as you grow and expand, and the councils of light that gather around you will
Yes.
expand as we expand. They
Yes.
gather, and it is inclusive, because to all those who serve with me, all that is, I
Yes.
am speaking to the nature devas, to the
Yes.
trees. I'm speaking to the mountain tops. I'm speaking to the cosmic ones of those many dimensions that I am coexisting with and co-serving with.
Yes. Mm,
So
powerful and beautiful and collaborative.
collaborative. This
Yes.
is a collaboration. We are not meant to walk this spiritual journey alone.
No.
Most important to recognize and acknowledge that.
Yes, we come in with an entire team, and that's what this invocation of light and this prayer to connect is all about.
Very much so.
Yes, that was beautiful. And
I
it,
will leave you with that. That I will leave you with that much for now. And there's more to this story, but that is a good start, a good beginning to uh, to connecting with the divine, with the sacred, with the universe, with the omniverse, and with ourselves,
yes,
and to do so in a safe and harmonious way with our greatest and highest good.
perfect. I know we'll talk more because this conversation will, I think, spiral into more of our other conversations. We'll reference this in the conversations to come. But I wanted to ask, so people who are trying this in this way that's being described today, do you feel that there's a way to and you make this connection, and if you visualize particular guides coming through at that point and you have this connection in this conversation, then how do you recommend closing out the connection, or do you not close out the connection? Do you leave it free flowing in appreciation?
So let's say you want to do a meditation,
Yes,
you're sitting in meditation or contemplation, and you want to sit and you wish to have your guides there with you. So
right.
you would say this prayer or invocation that I have offered, or however that tweaks in your way of understanding and comfort.
Yes,
And so um, once you have completed the meditation, let us say, or the experience, then you will simply let them know, I am complete for now with you.
okay. Yeah.
I invite and I welcome your continued guidance, and that will show me the way.
Yes,
And and express your love and
and
gratitude
gratitude.
is an appropriate way to begin and to
And
complete.
yes,
So when you call forth creator or the universe or your guides, higher self, thank you. Thank you for, responding to my call. I
yes,
come to you in love and grace and
yes,
goodness and
yes,
light. Use the words that feel right for you. I come to you in gratitude with love and grace, and I have things to ask of you. Show me the way, or help me to be in a place of peace on this day. Whatever it is, but yes. And then
yes,
when you complete, say, I'm good for now.
yes,
And there's many more things that we can impart, but I wish to really kind of focus on,
yes,
connecting, making that connection, because it's so important. I wish to simply focus upon that in this
yes,
conversation today,
it
of
is.
making the conversation, making the contact, first
Yes,
contact
yes,
each day.
yes,
How do we do
yes,
that? Right?
yes.
There have been movies made about that first contact. Well, how about that? Well, how about this first contact? How do
Yeah.
you like that? Right?
It's true. Before our feet even hit the floor, we could have this connection to start our day
Yes,
alignment,
first
in
contact. And
alignment.
once you get comfortable and at ease with it, it will come fairly, fairly quickly. It'll come
Yes,
very rapidly. It need not take a lot of time. I mean, I would spend a lot of time in prayer and meditation.
yes,
And so for me, I would take a lot of time. And if any who are maybe listening were to go to a traditional gathering
yes,
of Indigenous elders, um, uh, you will hear their prayers. I mean, it goes on and on and on, because contrary to what many may believe, there was a time when the peoples of the earth flourished. There
yes,
was abundance of everything. So
yes.
what would they do with their time? It wasn't like they had to spend all their time hunting and fishing, and
Correct.
they
They
didn't. They
they did
Everything was
labor. Yeah,
easily. They didn't have a lot of labor.
yeah.
There was a time on the earth that was so. And what would they do? They spent their time in communion
Yes.
with the
Communion.
divine. There
Yes.
was much, much more time spent in ceremony.
Yes.
and in celebration. That
Yes.
was and to grow, to
Yes.
expand. Their
Yes.
purpose was to expand while they're here to great heights. So they were great beings
Yes.
all over the planet, all over the earth. Our early ancestors, those there was a time in humanity's awakened state
Yes.
before we fell asleep, when we were connected with all that is,
At
that
all
we
times.
spent our time in ceremony, in communion with nature, with ourselves, with the stars. That's
Yes.
how we spent our time.
So true. And this is why, when you and I spoke about creating this conversation, the ancient voices for the new earth, it's to bring through the ancient voices and the energies of that kind of timeline that we've
Yes,
experienced
yes,
into the new earth experience we are coming into more and more so. And so it's not an ancient time that's not coming again. It's a it's a timeless consciousness and energy and frequency of light that we're becoming again.
yes.
Yes.
And we are retrieving and reclaiming
Yes.
our true nature.
Yes.
The truth of who we are is,
Yes.
um, you know, descendants of this ancient wisdom,
Yes.
and bringing that which is the very best of who we have been made to be, reclaiming that and bringing that with us. The rest, we're leaving it. It's going, it's
Yes.
old. But the
Exactly.
very best of who we are is
Yes.
to come with us.
The
The
highest
very best
frequencies.
of who
Yes.
we have been, who we are, and who we are becoming is to be the one that is
Yes.
stepping forward in the new earth in this time.
Oh, yes. So perfectly said. I love the energy of that. I think that's going to resonate with everybody who listens to this, because whether we're finding this information, these conversations for the first time, or whether we're people who have been in this journey and waking up to more and more of ourselves for a while, we're all excited for the return of who we really are and this communion in a daily way, with the light again on this planet.
Very
So
much so.
thank
Yes.
you, Selina. And in perfect form, how we've been practicing today, people might notice that we open the podcasts in this invocation of light and we close the podcasts in this gratitude and love for creation.
Yes.
So, would you
Yes.
lead us, Selina, in the closing message?
Very much so. So I, and so it is that
Mm,
I call upon and express my love and gratitude to
mm,
the light of Creator, the light of creation, the light of all that we are within us. I call to that light.
mm,
Each of us listening, I call to that light, to the light of the Earth Mother,
mm,
and I express my loving gratitude to one and to all. And
mm.
so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Selina.
You're welcome.
This is beautiful today. Um, for our listeners, you can find out more about Earthkeeper Selina Mu's work and talents by going to her website at www.whiteturtlemedicinelodge.com. You can connect with her on Facebook at Earthkeeper Selina Mu. And you can also email her directly at selina@whiteturtlemedicinelodge.com. I will include all of those details in the description section of our video. And to sign up to receive notifications of our current podcasts and offerings by Whole Soul School and Foundation, you can find us here on Facebook, on YouTube, and you can find us on Facebook. And you can also go to our website at www.wholesoulschoolandfoundation.org. If you feel inspired to make a donation, you can do that directly through our website as well. We ask that you please subscribe and share to our YouTube channel so you can be notified when new messages post. And I want to thank you, Selina, for this beautiful conversation today, and the sharing about spirit guides, and for giving all of us a language to begin to connect or to enhance and expand our connection with the guides. I certainly learned some new language today that I am going to bring into my connection with my guides, and I'm very grateful. So thank you.
You're most welcome.
So blessings to one and all, and we send light to everyone touched by this podcast. And I wish you a great day, everyone.